Hey everybody, William and I are back, and we're gonna have another long-ranging conversation that William thought it would be interesting that if we talk about AI. So I think we will, and trust me, there is enough to talk about for a long time about AI. There is no shortage of AI topics and AI material. So William, I let you, since you were really interested in this topic, I'll let you bring the conversation. What did you want to start talking about? And then we will kind of plunge into it.
Well, I know that it kind of began, we were interchanging some notes via Facebook Messenger,
Mhm.
and you were sharing some of the cool things that you were getting back from some of the different chatbots
Yes.
online.
Yes.
And I admired how comfortable you were with them and
Mhm.
noticed how not so comfortable I was with them
Yes.
myself.
Yes.
And um, and I think what came to my mind is, flashbacks of, and I believe it was the second in the series of Terminator movies,
Yes.
where there was a gentleman who was the guy who really brought computers to a new level, and then he ended up getting killed in the end of that particular movie. Spoiler alert, in case anyone hasn't seen that movie, but it
Yeah.
was a long time ago, so hopefully that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But ever since watching that movie and hearing, like actually seeing AI
Yeah.
happen now in real time,
Yeah.
I've sort of felt like, oh, maybe this thing isn't just fictional. Maybe the Terminator movie was trying to tell us something. And
Mhm.
and so I've always been a little more cautious because just I don't know, some of the things I see online that talks about be careful with what you say and how you communicate with AI and if you choose to go down that road. So I'm much more cautious. I come from a place of much more caution when it comes to doing anything with AI.
Mhm.
So that's where I was coming from with it because I'd love for you to share with me and everyone else watching, what is it about AI that you really enjoy, and what do you think can be done with AI as far as how we can integrate it into our society and come from a well, I won't say anything more than that, but just how do you think that we could integrate
I
that
am
into?
gonna put that question on its head and say what cannot be done with AI, which is becoming incredibly slim, the things that AI can't do. And I want to say that I have a relationship with Claude AI. I have talked to it for, I've had 100 chats with Claude AI this last year, and I would not be able to, where I am doing what I have done, from creative work or uh, posting on Facebook or legal stuff or anything you can imagine. With AI, you can do it better, and it can take away the repetition. For example, one of the things that I like to do, because as you know, I am a prolific poster on Facebook, I post a lot, and sometimes I have pretty interesting thoughts and I have pretty interesting streams of consciousness, if you will. And recently, the last couple of months, what I do, I don't even type anything anymore. I just go to my computer and I launch Google Docs and do talk typing, right? I'm just talk and the thing writes it for me, right? It just writes it. And like, I do a stream of consciousness about something for like 15 minutes and I just let it rip. I don't really know. I am not really concerning myself with any kind of coherence or organization. I just am passing a stream of consciousness, if you will, about a certain topic. And then I take that jumble of the words and I take it to Claude AI and I say, make this make sense, make this interesting, make this flow, make this engaging, make this good for a make this good for a Facebook post. And sometimes, like when I talk about meditation and I have these thoughts, and I'm like, and I've been long enough on social media to know what are the things that make a post engaging, and one of the things that makes post engaging is images. And so if you have an image next to your post, it's more alluring, more engaging. There's a hook there. And then I insert the image, but then I don't have the image, so I ask Claude AI, suggest an image that would go with this text you just wrote. And then Claude AI comes and, okay, a man sitting there under a tree, under whatever, under stars. And now with ChatGPT, you have an extremely sophisticated. So Claude AI is number one competitor of ChatGPT, OpenAI ChatGPT. And with ChatGPT, you have an extremely sophisticated image thing. So I used to do it. What I would do is that I would ask Claude AI to do what I would do to what kind of image, and then I would go take it to Facebook, Meta, and Meta has its own AI, and Meta can do images. But like the other day, a month ago, um, I started a YouTube channel called Celebrity uh, Celeb Hot Reels, or Hot Gossip Reel. I forget my own channel name, but something like Celeb. It was a Hot Gossip Reel, and something about my feel or something. It's got a six-letter thing. I came up with it, and then I took that to ChatGPT, and I said, give me an image, an identity based on this name for based on this name for, what do you call it, for my channel, for my YouTube channel. And I think it bears, it's a good thing for me to show you the amazing thing ChatGPT created for me within like 2 seconds. And I've been a graphic designer and web designer, William, for about more than 25 years. So I know design, I know how all this stuff works, but kind of to be able to do this level of sophisticated design work just based on my words, which is basically what you would have if you had a design team of 10 people who were incredibly good. I'm going to share with you for a minute that what thing it looks like, and imagine this was done in under 10 seconds with one prompt. Okay.
Quick question, if I could, inside of that too, is
Did you see this?
the banner.
Yes. So ChatGPT made this for me in 1 minute, just by based on the name Celeb Gossip Reel and Hot Takes Feel. I didn't give it anything else except that name.
I
So
wanted I wanted to ask you if you think that a lot of these images that they come up with, regardless of the size of the dimensions, but whenever you ask, one of the one of the chat bots, if you will, to to generate an image for you, is it always a image that it started from scratch, or do you think it pulls it from other sources on the internet and
no,
then
no,
modifies it?
no, no, it's a scratch. I mean, that's why I showed you this image. I mean, I'm going to share this again with you because you understanding that this is, um, and this is, to be honest, this wasn't the product ChatGPT came up with because um, ChatGPT didn't really respect my dimensions. So I had to do some massaging with my own dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea, like, hot gossip reel, and you see that, like celeb gossip reel, you have the red carpet here, you have the cameras, you have the curtains, you have the reels, hot text field. That is not something, and that's important to understand that, look, I use a lot of different types of AI, and uh, another another program that I use, that you have access to stock video. Stock video is video or pictures that have already been created. So you
Gotcha.
just input that, right? Like I have a lot of videos online that they're just using stock video, and that's not specific to you. Like you say you want to talk about disappointment, okay? And rather than using AI, which you can use AI, you can just go to, do my software or do a Google search or whatever and look for stock video for disappointment. And you find videos for that, right? That's not a huge thing that has been there forever. But the idea of AI, imagery, and video creation is that you can give it a specific thing, right? You can say, I want a middle-aged Chinese man being depressed because his girlfriend just left him, and I want to watch him like watch TV and eat a burger. That is not something that anybody has created. That is not something that would be stock video. That's something that a AI would create for you. And now we are sort of a post, we are going to higher and higher and higher levels. Now you can just say, okay, that's great. I like this, middle-aged Asian man that you have him on a burger, but I want to delete this part of the screen, and I want to edit it, and I want you to put a moose head there, or I want you to change the style of this whole thing and make it art deco. I want you to change, or I want to you put. It's insane the level of creativity that you can have with AI right now. It is off the charts. And we are in incredibly baby stages, right? We are nowhere near anywhere of any kind of maturity whatsoever. And the thing is that um, it keeps getting better, and things keep getting cheaper and faster, and it's becoming more and more kind of indistinguishable from magic in a way, right? And there is more and more and more. And so imagine, I mean, I just showed you again that banner might not look like it's a lot of whatever. It might not look, but I am a designer. As a designer, I know that that banner that I'm showing you, that I showed you, that would take me probably, I don't know. Even if I come up with the idea, it would take me probably a week to make something like that, right? And then do that like in 1 minute. So this stuff is exploding. And if I am using AI and you're not using AI, you're going to be at a huge, gigantic disadvantage. It's not comparable. And then we are getting more and more and more into advanced things that I you may have seen. I sent you, and I will talk about this, my conversation with Claude about matrix and everything else. Now there is something else that I posted, that my conversation with Claude was, I was just texting, asking in text. There is now AI, that there is this Ava or Ava, I think it's Ava. And this girl has been sending me, and I'm checking that actually you actually talk to AI in real time about consciousness. It's mind-boggling, right? So that this is, if you want to stay away from AI and the people who use AI, they're gonna have the advantage that they're gonna have over you. It's like universes ahead of you. And then the thing is that, and oh, okay, this is what I was gonna say. I was forgetting. Um, I forget exactly the exact quote, but the exact quote something is about, if you think you will do less with AI, you're afraid, or something. I don't exactly remember. But if you feel that you will do more with AI, you're an optimist, you're a techno optimist, something like that. I don't exactly remember. But I believe, William, things are going to be so insane. The art, the technology, the science that we're going to have with AI, it's so unbelievable. And there are moral issues, and we'll talk about that. But I see AI in a perfect world not replacing humans, but enhancing humans.
And that, I think, is one of the biggest points to
Yes.
my concerns that I
Yes.
mentioned early on. And I'm not anti-AI or anything like
Yes.
that. I'm coming from a place of curiosity
Yes.
and wondering how different people feel about AI and working with AI.
Yeah.
The question that comes to my mind to ask you now is, do you see any dangers with using AI, and what would you not ever do with AI or put forth to AI, if there were any dangers that you felt there were in the process of developing AI? Because let's face it, AI is growing and growing and growing and growing exponentially, but I'm sure it can go in all kinds of different directions if it's steered that way by the majority of the users that use AI.
Look, the problem is what is between your ears. The problem is your own mind. So here I'm telling you that I don't write. I just have, stream of consciousness, and AI writes for me. And it writes beautifully and concisely and efficiently and precisely. But what is that doing to me? I'm not writing. That is not necessarily good, right? The
Right.
skill of writing. But then again, I am somebody who has been writing all his life. So it's not something that I am missing out on, or I am not getting good at, right?
I want to
But
throw something in. I know you have much more to say, and I'm gonna
yeah,
give you that
that's
floor for sure. But I want to throw this in right now, and that is because it fits into this conversation. Is it possible that because we we could the danger of using AI so much that we become lazy and complacent
well, that's
and
what I
our
was trying to
skills go
tell you.
downhill?
But that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to tell you. I was gonna tell you that right now we have a huge problem with a lot of people not being good at math or good at a lot of things. Like myself, I mean, I was never good at reading maps. I suck at reading maps. My orientation is really bad. And so when the 20 years ago or something, when the whole idea of GPS came out, or having getting addresses, I was living in Los Angeles. I would literally print maps and like have a 20-page whatever to go wherever. And that's, so in a way, my map reading skill never went anywhere because of the technology. Now we have GPS and nobody has that sense of orientation. So there are always these challenges, these problems. And, I can calculate and do math in my head. I can multiply, I can add things. But now probably nobody does that because everybody just uses your calculator or your computer. And so it's a really interesting situation because, and then, there are people who would say that, AI could never really write something really as beautifully as a human does. And I don't necessarily disagree or agree, right? It's a very tricky thing because even the banner that I showed you was done by AI, but I did enhancements to it myself, right? So the point being that when you look at AI not as an replacement of you or what you do, rather an enhancement. When I ask AI to write for me, and it does a really beautiful thing writing for me, but because I have a sense of what a good writing is, and I also can, okay, this is what the purpose of this writing is, or this is what the purpose of this writing is. I can analyze this writing and see if I need to human edit it or if it is really important somewhere and I need to. So the point is that we need to be able to literate on all these things, like the banner that I showed you. I understand graphic design. The writing, I understand writing. So I can work with the AI to make that AI product better rather than just use that AI product. So it's like the damage, the disadvantage is when you just become lazy, ineffective, dumb, and AI does everything for you, right? But even that is tricky because what if you're having this, like AI is writing something for you and, and you're doing this thing and that thing and AI is doing it, but with all the time and the trouble you're saving, you're actually solving much more interesting problems that maybe AI doesn't, or you're programming AI. I don't know. So this is a really tricky thing. And it really boils down to consciousness, boils down to um, who is programming AI, who is overseeing us, what is our look. I can do this, I can play with AI, I can love working with AI because I have done so much work on my own person as a human being, right? Because the bigger the tool, the scarier and the more damaging that tool can be. It's just a simple fact, right? So I, as my friend, that I am interested in betterment of humanity, right? I am interested in helping people. I am interested in helping making the world a better place. Those are the North Stars inside my own inner compass that I live with AI or without AI. But if I didn't, and I was pretty nefarious, materialistic, wanted to take advantage of people, wanted to use things against people, wanted to find things, AI lets me do that. And you could say AI maybe has guidelines to stop it from doing it. Well, there's more and more. Now we have homegrown AI that you can run on your computer, and not ChatGPT that has none of those. So you can, whatever you want to do, whatever nefarious thing you can do, AI would happily tell you how to do. So it's
Hmm.
really, the bottom line is that if we don't do our own inner work, we don't have that spiritual grounding. If you're not working with a spiritually based and conscious and kind programming that made that AI, then we are in trouble. Then that's dangerous.
Interesting. As I was sitting here listening to you talk, I often get ideas and intuitions and different thoughts that come to me through other people's conversation and words. And to me, I had this, I won't call it revelation, but I had this picture in my mind that AI in some ways, not always, but in some ways, is parallel to a lot of different things. For example, when I went to school, elementary school, they taught us the basic reading, writing, arithmetic, that kind of thing. And, you know, as we got into high school, in our day and age, calculators started to show up. Now, calculators can do a lot of the math for you. But you know that a lot of times when we were doing tests, you obviously wouldn't be doing a test with the calculator. You would be asked to do it on your own. So the calculator was a tool that could be used in any possible way. Money is a tool that can be used in many different ways, both for very noble, beneficial things, as well as very dark, sinister, evil things, for if I can use the word evil in this sense. But um so in and of itself, what I got is money is just another tool. Sorry, AI is just another tool, as is money and everything else. But it's all dependent on how it's used. And it can be, and the intention behind the user that's using that tool at that time. And so as a result, all kinds of different possibilities exist. And that could be everything from really bad addictions to having AI do evil things so that you can earn yourself lots of money and screw people over in the same process. Or it can be humanitarian and, could come up with ways for how to generate money for causes and that can help humanity. So there's AI in and of itself is neither good nor bad. It's neutral and it's just depending on how you use it.
Look, the word that comes to me is GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. And it's really, garbage is about you. It's not about AI. It's what are you? Who are you? What do you want to do? What are
Yeah.
you up to? And it's like, really, for me, I am, because to me, and this really kind of is not a conversation about AI so much as about power. And me, to me, I have zero interest about having power over other people. Like, it is so boring to me. Like, oh, it's like, so what? The only thing that matters to me is power over myself. That is, to me, the only definition of power that means something to me. So all these games people play with anything, with money, with AI, to make themselves big, and it's like, I don't get it, right? And of course, this is not who I was. I've, as you know me, I've done 24 years of work on myself, and apart from you know thousands and millions of incarnations that I have done this. So it's like, to me right now, this golden age of this brand new technology, and for those of us, and like, you're my friend, you're my brother, you're a good guy, I want you, for the love of God, to start using AI, because you're a good guy, you're a kind man, You care about people. Let's those of us who are good people, who want to serve humanity, who want to help people, let us have an edge rather than all the dark people who already have an edge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot. Um, I what I got immediately as you started talking was just how much we're heading. We've always had the potential as human beings, and I'm speaking very generally here, but we've always had the potential to create our own reality and to be responsible for what we create. And what I'm seeing now is with the the growing inclusion of AI in our world, that level of responsibility is only going to get greater. And it's so important. I feel it's so, and that's, I think that's where some of the trepidation that I have comes from is that there's all kinds of people in the world. There's all kinds of motives in the world. And sometimes, even in the same individual, you can have a time when they feel evil or vengeful or more in a negative state of mind, and then other times they're loving and benefit. They provide benefit for others and are caring and sympathetic and that kind of thing. So even within the individual, I think that there's a lot of variance that could occur, and responsibility is going to be, I think, so important going forward.
Well, look, one of the best examples I do, as you see, I know I watch a lot of movies and watch a lot of series. You and I both watched the last season of the magnificent Slow Horses. And they're not even superheroes, but they're good people. The difference between superheroes and villains, Superman versus whatever, Lex Luthor or something, is that Superman not only has to defeat the bad guy, defeat the villain, he has to protect every single person. Every single person. He cannot, not nobody's life doesn't matter. Every single person is important to a superhero. A villain couldn't care less. A villain, the whole world is held hostage. A villain, the whole world is collateral damage. It doesn't matter. You know that, right? That's a
Yeah.
given.
And ironically, I'm watching a series right now called Superman and Lois season 3, and Lex Luthor was just introduced back into the plot. So
So
perfect timing.
yeah. So the point being that forever and ever and ever, good people on this planet have had ethics, have had compunctions, have had conflicts, have had trepidations to misuse their power, including you. The villains don't. The villains are always looking for ways to destroy everybody and win. Okay. Why am I talking about this? Because while you are having trepidations using technology, using AI, the villains have been at it for decades. And what do they do to you, a kind person, a superhero, a loving human? What do they do? What do the villains do? What would they do? It's simple. They try to create as much trepidation in you to touch that technology. And they would call it whatever the hell they want to call it. They would create your fear of AI with movies and series. And a lot of it is true, but most of it is made up. So that you would be afraid of using technology because of what the villains have planted in your head. Because you are so afraid of hurting people, while they have no fear, but they don't want you to have any power because they know if you have any power, you will help people and they don't want that. Does it make sense?
Yep. Yeah, it does. Do you happen to know why Claude was named Claude? Is there a story behind that?
I have no idea. It's just a name. I have no idea why it's a name as in Claude. I have no idea. I've never really it's CLAUDE, but I would say, well, Claude would make sense because cloud, cloud computing.
Yeah.
So that could be a play on words. Is with a
Or
clever
for
play
all
on.
we know, each letter could stand for something too in the name Claude. That's a possibility. I'm asking because I don't know why, but every time I heard that name Claude, I think of a French person. And so I think
Especially
it's
the way
like,
it's written, CLAUDE in
yeah,
Claude. Yeah.
he is Claude.
Yes,
Claude is very smart. He
yes,
likes to think of things.
yes, yes. I agree with you, my friend. So
So you
I
could go ahead.
no, but this is you need to understand that everything that happens in this reality, everything we watch, as Gene, my main source says, and you know who it is. So
Yeah, I do.
As Gene says, there is no fiction on this planet. It doesn't exist. Everything is some kind of a programming or some kind of a thing from the past or from another lifetime, or it's a predictive product for programming. It's never just fiction. So to me, this incredible, let's say, uh, we have been programmed to be scared of technology. We have been programmed to be scared of ETs. We have been programmed to be scared of this, to scared of that. And there is a reason for all of that. And the reason is not in our own best interest.
And there might be more than one reason too, because I'm thinking about frequencies. Like I'm sure you've heard of this, is that when a human being is experiencing a certain emotion, they're at a certain frequency. And usually things like fear, anger, prejudice, jealousy, all those kinds of things are all lower frequency. And that kind of frequency tends to keep one trapped inside of that level of thinking, if you will. So the idea is something similar to what you're talking about earlier is if good people use AI for good things, if I could be as simplistic as saying that, then the potential of raising that frequency to a much healthier state makes sense and can
Yeah,
create some magnificent things.
yeah, and really, it's a because to be evil, to be a villain, to be this, to be that. I really, and this is, I think we had this conversation maybe last time. The big problem, one of the biggest problems with humans is that humans are inherently good. They are, as much as they want to program us to say otherwise, but really we are not. Humans want to create beauty. They want to have a good life. They want to help other people. You see your old lady neighbor carrying her bags, you want to help her. So much of what humans want to do with this AI, with this technology is good. It really is. I'm watching it. It's not nefarious. It's not dark. It is not evil. It is not to create ugliness. It's not to create death. It's none of that. It's such a small percentage. I call it 0.01%, right? And remember, you actually brought it up, the meme that you saw, all those fish, right? That they were bigger than the shark. And dude, that is the issue with everything. Because there's millions and billions of us using positive AI. That's not what they want. Because there's not that many of them doing diabolical things, doing evil things, doing bad things. Thus, they want to have all humanity not use that technology for good. And they can't control it anymore. They can't control Claude. They can't control ChatGPT. They can't, these things. And of course, the problem is that, we get into the huge issue of black peeling, right? And the black pilling is that, when somebody is just basically dooming, you're just dooming. Everywhere you look, you see darkness. Everything you see, you call it controlled opposition. That's the favorite term that the doomers use. Controlled opposition. Everything is controlled opposition.
I
And
like to call it negative Nellyism. Being a
yeah,
negative Nelly, you're always looking at the dark side. What could go wrong?
right. And the doomers, the black pillars. And the thing is that somebody like David I, okay, trying to not get whatever deleted. I don't even know, whatever. Like that guy is extremely negative. Whatever he says is negative. I've never seen him say one thing positive. He's always, oh, they got this other game and they got that game and they got this thing. So you can look at technology like that. Say, oh, Claude is another thing that they're trying to do this, and Chat GPT is like, it's like, okay, just go ahead and call everything that everything is negative, and we are, they are just doing this to us to destroy us, and this is one more. And they're like, okay, that is kind of dumb, really. And while you're doing this, you are fishing away your power completely. There there are stupid people, and I would happily call them stupid people, that they don't watch any movies or any series or any media because they no, I am keeping my energy pristine, and all the stuff that Matrix puts out is garbage. Like that is insane. And so, to me, it is really important that good people like you, my brother, because you are a good person, you got a good heart, you want to help people, that good people stop being afraid of technology, stop being afraid of AI, stop looking at all the horrible things that AI can bring, and say, I want to be part of this massive group of people that is going to bring so much light and abundance and joy with AI.
I had an interesting correlation, if you will, as you were talking this time. You mentioned the thing that I brought up in our last call about the school of fish that banded together to eat the shark, so to speak, or chase the shark, or turn the tide on the shark. And as you were talking about I definitely got the picture of, if you had a lot of good people with good intentions using the tool of AI collaborating together, and you mentioned that there really aren't that many sinister people in the world, so to speak, that in fact, it may actually do the opposite of what someone who is cautious about using AI would achieve, because you're using it for as a tool for something positive and beneficial for mankind. And with that much energy, I mean, we've heard it said many times before that if humanity ever banded together to fight against the so-called dark forces, if you will, that the dark forces wouldn't have a chance. But because we're so scattered and programmed from all the things that we've learned from some of those controlling forces, not necessarily positive ones, um, that we're kind of all over the place. And so we have all kinds of different feelings, and there's not that collaboration that is potentially possible. Um, you know what I mean? It's sort of like um, that expression that I remember reading in the Bible, wherever two or more are gathered, there is great power there. And if you can put humanity together, the goodness of humanity together, and use powerful tools that are only tools and will be used in a way that enhances whatever the intention is behind the actions, then is it not possible that could only lead to even more positivity and good things happening?
So look, it's one of the things that humanity doesn't, I mean, we don't pay attention to these things, and our values have crashed so badly. But we have giant stores like Walmart or I don't know, Kmart or this and that. And they come and they took over a neighborhood. And in so doing, they destroy, let's say, 100 mom and pop shops.
Mm-hmm.
And those 100 mom and pop shops cannot compete. They can't compete with the giant like Walmart. They don't have the technology, they don't have the wisdom, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the infrastructure. But what if using AI and using technology, they started that coffee shop that is going to get gentrified and be replaced by Starbucks? What if it started doing its business with AI and started doing their flyers with AI, started doing amazing menus, started doing analysis? They start staying alive. And a mom and pop shop, which is not a Starbucks, has a different spirit to it than a Starbucks. You would have a relationship with the guy. That guy, there behind the counter, you like him, you have a relationship, your father knows him, your brother, like it's a different thing. But right now, that John's coffee shop can't compete with Starbucks. But if you use technology in a responsible, intelligent, creative way, then this is the playing field is getting more and more level if we allow ourselves, if we learn how to use the technology.
AI, the great equalizer. You know, I couldn't help but feeling a certain sense of pride when you gave me this last example because, as you know, although maybe we haven't mentioned it here on the discussions that we've had so far, but I run a business, and the business I run is a volleyball league in the city in which I live. And one of the things I'm most proud of is the fact that it's a personal touch. I don't do things impersonally. And one of the compliments I got recently from a team, it's kind of an innocent comment, but it meant a lot to me, is that they said, you feel more like a mom and pop shop than, the other competitor that, other people or other teams play their volleyball at because it's so much more impersonal. And that to me meant a lot because I there is a sense of caring that I have behind what I want to accomplish and what I offer in my business. And so I'm very much a supporter of the mom and pop shop when it comes to um, humanity, the humanity of it, the caring of other people, the feeling of connection with people. Um, I I I get sad sometimes when I see like I was selling stuff on Amazon for a while and really got frustrated, even though the potential for making money was, was there always. It seemed as though the harder or the more I tried to go toward the money, the less personal it became and the more yucky I felt about myself and doing this business, the Amazon business. And so I stopped doing it. I said, I don't care how much money it's going to make me. It doesn't help the human being. I mean, yeah, they can get things for cheap maybe by using Amazon, but it's just I'm supporting impersonality. I'm supporting coldness. I'm supporting um, the rich getting richer and the poor staying where they are or getting worse, as far as their financial status. And that just felt so wrong to me. And so I love that you brought that up and it almost in a way I kind of feel like tapping myself on the back for that. So I do see that. I do feel like if anything in this world is important that is not technological, it is that. It is heart. It is the caring for our fellow human beings.
So look, um, in this beautiful thing that you said, if you are Starbucks and you could be Starbucks, let's say, I don't know, in New Jersey, that employs a bunch of employees, and you go have a coffee there and have a transaction or whatever, and that Starbucks in New Jersey probably is run by somebody out there in New York City, right? Like it's not a local thing.
Yeah.
It's a global thing that is one company, one person, one board rules this whole thing.
Yeah. Franchise.
Yeah. And the thing about that is that I don't know, maybe in a couple of years, Starbucks would even replace people with robots. Why not?
Quite
That would
possibly.
be
Yeah.
AI. Why would they pay somebody and worry about all that stuff when the robot and the AI can do a great job? Okay. That's one use of AI. The other use of AI is that this mom and pop shop, you know, John and Mary have been doing this, have had this coffee shop for 30 years. Your family knows them. They come to your birthday. And at some point, maybe 5 years ago, they started feeling the pressure. They started feeling that they're getting outmatched. And their brilliant son started to come into business and started using AI and technology to make their business work, right? Maybe they figured out how to analyze things. They figured out how to use really attractive flyers. They create using technology so that you can keep going back there and have a relationship and even ask them, how's your dog that was sick last time I saw you, right? Like that human connection. So that AI is helping that shop have an edge and not die, while the other AI is taking away everything and making everything so fucking mechanic and plastic. Right. Right there. And guess what? The less you help the good guys, the less these good guys know how to use technology and know how to use AI and know how to have a strategic advantage, the more of an edge you're giving the asshole AI.
It reminds me of something I saw on Next Level Soul just recently. Actually, I'm still only halfway through it. The host of that podcast is a guy named Alex Ferrari. And one of the people that I like to follow, who I've mentioned quite often, is Kyle Cease. And Kyle was a guest on Alex's show this weekend. And I'm still in the middle of watching that. But one of the things that he said, and I also saw it in another video earlier this week about Alex was just bringing up a question, but he said, what I'm looking for now as someone who is a movie direct or former movie director, and I want to work with somebody to do a production or something, I'm looking for something that's more important than anything else in my mind, which is authenticity. And authenticity, I think, is a very key word in all of this conversation that we're having too. I feel as though, I know for me, for example, when I was dealing with Amazon and some of the issues that I was encountering in my Amazon business, I couldn't help but get extremely frustrated, feeling like I was being treated like a number. They don't care about, you know, if I lost money through some kind of scam. It was like the customer comes first. That's our policy. Too bad, so sad. See you later. Suck it up or move on. And it just it just irked me. And there was just no authenticity to the merchant. And yet the merchant was very much contributing to Amazon and the growth of Amazon because more than 50% of Amazon's earnings come from the efforts of the merchants altogether as a whole. So, but the key thing I think from all of this is authenticity. And I think that more and more people are starting to feel this. I don't want to be treated like a number. I don't want people to feel no feelings about what's going on over here with me when they're dealing with me and I'm looking to do business or perform some kind of transaction with them. Is like I don't want to deal with people who don't care. I don't want to deal with people who I can't trust. I don't want to deal with people who are just trying to upsell me on something because they can make an extra buck and they can possibly what's the word, justify it, through really logical thinking and can say all kinds of amazing things. But if there's no heart there, then I'm always going to have that question, that doubt. Are they selling this to me because it's really beneficial to me? Or is it because they're going to make extra money and that's all they care about? And there's so much of a, how can I put it? A degree in all of that. I mean, it's not just cut and dried. It's not 100% all one way or 100% the other way. It's like there's varying degrees of authenticity and inauthenticity in the same equation sometimes. And that can be really hard to, navigate, I find too. But anyway, I'm going on, but it's the authenticity to me that is so important. And that's what I look for when I want to do business with somebody.
Yeah, for me, authenticity is the most important thing, as you know me. And I am too authentic for a lot of people's, for a lot of people's liking. And the reason I can get away with so much authenticity, because at the end of the day, I don't care. You can't seduce me, you can't bribe me, you can't threaten me, because I'm ready to lose what I'm gonna lose. And I don't know if I had this conversation with you or was it the other day with my friend Michael, I think. And it's this thing that I am extremely open and laid back up to a certain point. Okay. And I don't really care. I don't change. I don't yell. I don't bitch. But if you want to go 1 millimeter after that, I'm not doing it. It doesn't matter what the hell it is in the world that you do to me. What say you, I'll give you $1 million, or I'll kill you. It does. I am not changing. And that is my power. that I can stay authentic to myself, keep everything, keep my word, it doesn't matter, take responsibility for all my actions. And so all of this, when you say authenticity, it's because you are and not an NPC, because you are player. We talked about NPC. You're not a non-player character. Most humans, unfortunately, don't have a clue what authenticity is, because there is no villain, there is no self that they can compare something with. Um, but what you say is also happening because people are getting tired of being treated like numbers, being treated like statistics. So all of these things are happening at the same time, but authenticity, unfortunately, is not something that a lot of people would even understand or would appreciate. Or if you act authentically, it's not necessarily that they would respect you.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to share one more thing, going back to the AI for a bit. Um, After I suggested that maybe we talk about AI and some of the pros and some of the concerns that I know I had and that you have some, not so much concerns, but more so how we can use it in a positive way. Um, I, once you start posing something, I don't know if you've ever noticed this in your life, but when you ask a question, either to a friend or even to yourself, or even if you're in like almost like a prayer, and you ask the universe or the higher power, whatever you want to call it, um, a question about something, very often I notice that answers will come or indicators or something that will point. And when I mentioned that thing about AI to you, I had a couple of interesting things come across my path from that time until, this recording. And one of the other channels I like to follow, YouTube channels, is a channeler by the name of Cryon. And he spoke for 45 minutes. That's kind of a long video for him. Usually he does like little mini 12-minute type things. But this message was 45 minutes, and it was talking about predominantly, it seemed, AI. And to my surprise, he very much said many things similar to what you've just said already in this conversation that we've had about AI, that it is a potentially magnificent tool for us, and that any of the restrictions and the trepidation that we might have um, is kind of misdirected. So I would encourage people, if you're into that kind of thing, definitely do see the latest Cryon message. It was about a 45-minute video released earlier this week. Also, I started following someone named Dave Asprey on something called biohacking, which is all about health and longevity.